So I searched high and low last night all over the internet to see if I could find a solution to this shaft that won't come off. It's supposed to just slide off there. I think what I'm going to do today is try removing the back motor mount or transmission mount here and dropping the rear of the transmission so that I can get in here with a zip cut blade and try and slit parallel to the axis of that shaft, and hopefully that'll relieve it. I sprayed penetrating fluid into the shaft in there. I'm going to look in there with a bore scope as well. So there's the transmission mount out of the way, but it's still not going to work because I've got a 5-inch zip cut blade here, or is it 4.5 inch, and I can't get close enough, as you can see in here, and I can't drop this transmission any further. It won't drop. At least I can't think of it in another way. Well, let me try and see if I can find a bigger blade. So I'm going to try with the slide, or with this large round pinch bar, lining bar, and an air chisel to drive it off. Splitting the actual pipe with the bar. It might have moved a 1/16 of an inch here, but I'm actually splitting the pipe. I wonder if I should try driving it back on. I couldn't get up here. I tried to cut it with a Sawzall. Seems like it's pretty hard steel. The only thing that's going to cut it is a zip cut blade, but I don't have a big enough one to get in there, or a small enough one. Oh boy. So by lowering the transmission with a block of wood above the drive shaft and prying it over towards the driver's side with this 19 mil stubby socket here, I was able to just get enough room to get my angle grinder in there with the zip cut blade and cut that. Well, we're going to try, see if that makes it loose now. Wow, that was insane. Anyways, I took the air chisel and spread this notch that I cut, and then went against the end of the shaft and it came out. Once it broke free, it came off quite easily. Yet there's not really any rust on that shaft. Now I did nick the spline, but that's not going to hurt anything. Wow. There's like a constant velocity joint inside the differential housing. This is hot like hell. Holy mackerel. Well, I wonder if we can get this drive shaft in without dropping the exhaust. It says the exhaust has to be dropped, but we're going to give it a try. Clean up these threads on here, these splines on here with a wire wheel. So all the service literature I found shows that there's two master splines. You can see one right on this side, and they line up with these little dimples on the drive shaft. Now I have turned this output shaft 360 degrees and I don't see any master splines on it. So I'm going to look inside this housing here and see if there's any on this one. Yeah, there is. So there's two little dimples on the shaft. Well, I marked them now. But yeah, there is two little master splines on there. But I don't see them on the output shaft. I still don't know for the life of me why that was so difficult to come off. Well, try and put it on. So there is a master spline after all. It's just filled in right at the end here. So I've marked that and marked it along the shaft with white paint, and I've marked the drive shaft. Now I've cleaned this flange up, but I was putting the drive shaft up here and I noticed one of the tranny bolts must have got knocked loose. So we're going to tighten that up, and I've removed the upper O2 sensor. It has been hit by the drive shaft, so it might be a problem, but it's accessible through here anyway, so I'm just going to leave it out for now while I put the drive shaft in and then reinstall it. Hopefully I can get this in without dropping the exhaust. Well, there's the drive shaft back installed. I put Loctite on those front bolts. I still got to put the O2 sensor in. As I mentioned, this thing might fail because it's been beat on, but it's easy enough to change here. The connector's up there, and I put some never sees on that. Transmission mount back in. So this cover that sits under here normally is all missing, so at least I don't have to worry about that. And that was fun. It was like 4 hours to get that drive shaft in and out.